we also indicated that we have 11.4 that says that write down the x coordinate of the point of inflection. Right, boys and girls, what is it that you must do here? What is it that we must do here? Of course, you remember now, our first derivative was, we need to find the second derivative. Then it means we need first derivative, which was minus 3x squared plus 2x minus 8 plus 8. This was our first derivative. Now let us find the second derivative. Of course, first f second prime of x is equals to, that is a minus 6x plus what? Minus 6x plus 2, because you just take 2 multiplied by minus 3 is a minus 6, then the derivative of 2x is a positive 2. Then you let it to be 0, then 0 is equals to minus 6x plus 2, then take 6 on the other side, positive 6x is equals to what? Is equals to 2. Then I divide by 6 on both sides. Therefore, x is equals to 1 divided by 3. Please, boys and girls, look at the question. Here they said, write down the x coordinate of the point of inflection of f. It means in this case, you are only looking for x, right? But sometimes they also say, write down the coordinate of the point of inflection. Then it means in that case, you must have x as well as what? X as well as y. Boys and girls, of course, I said one option is you can find the second derivative. You let the second derivative to be 0, and thereafter, what is it that you must do then? Then you solve for x. And then the other one I said, you remember, we have what? We have the x value at the turning point, right? The x value at the turning point, the first one is a minus 4 over 3, and the other one was x is equals to 2. Right, this is our x value at the turning points. I said you can also use the 2 to say x is equals to, you add the 2, minus 4 over 3 plus 2, then divided by 2. Right, let us see what is it that we'll get from this one here. Then, of course, we have minus 4 over 3, then plus 2 here, then we divide it by 2. Then we can see we still have what? We still have x as a 1 over 3. If you know what is the x value at the turning point, you can just add the 2 and then you divide it by 2. Then of course the other one is where you can also use x is equals to what? Minus b over 2a. From what? Your b then will be the 2. This 2 here, it means you have minus 2 here. Then of course divided by 2 multiplied by what? Yeah, a there is a minus 3. Then of course it's minus 2 divided by minus 6, which of course is still the same as 1 over 3. These are the options that you can use, especially when you are determining the x coordinate of the point of inflection. Of course, if the question says determining the coordinates of the point of inflections, now it means you must take now your x, then you substitute it where? You substitute x now in the original equations, of course, to find the corresponding y coordinate. Right, boys and girls, the last question here says, write down the coordinate of the turning points of h at x is equals to f at x minus 3. Write down the coordinates of the turning points of h. Now it means h now is our new functions now, where f at x is, where h at x is equals to f at x minus 3. Of course, you'll agree with me that this one is a translation, it's a vertical movement. It means our graph now will shift what? Will shift 3 units, downwards. And the only thing that will be affected there will be the y coordinate of the turning point. It means what you're going to do there, just take minus 1,3, and minus 18,5, then we minus 3, and the other one, we also do the same. We say that is 2, then minus 3. Of course, this one is a 2 as well as minus 3 there. It's a 2 and minus 3. And this one is a minus 1,3. Of course, minus 1,3. Now you take 18, minus 18,5, minus 3. Of course, your answer then will be what? Will be minus 21,5. Remember now your graph will move vertically 3 units downwards. Boys and girls, of course, I believed that we've really learned a lot from this exercise, which is very important. I believed that if you can know how to sketch the graph, Is very important. Therefore, finding the equation and interpreting the graph then will be what we have done when you sketch the graph. Right. Boys and girls, I believe that if you have question, if you need clarity on some of this one here, of course, you are welcome to ask questions so that at least you understand, you are well prepared before you can go and do what? Before you can go and write the paper on Friday. Right. Now we go now to question 8 November 2011. We go now to question 8 November 2011. Of course, we are going to answer question 9. Now you can see now, it means now sketching the graph, now at least we are happy with that. Now it means now, let us see now, what is it that we need now when we determine the equation? When we determine the equation of F, when we determine the equation of G. Boys and girls, before we take the break, let me now summarize what we did at the beginning of these sessions. Of course, boys and girls, we looked at the graph of cubic functions. We said that when you sketch these cubic functions, what is it that you need? We said you need to find the x and the y intercept. We said for x intercept, you let y to be 0, and also for what? And also for y intercept, you let x to be 0. And thereafter, immediately after that, what is it that you're going to do? Then immediately after that one, of course, you need to remember the shape of the graph. The shape of the graph here, if a is greater than 0, your function will increase. If a is less than 0, the function will start decreasing. Then if decrease, the first turning point will be the minimum. If increase, the first turning point will be the maximum. Of course, now we have said now x and the y intercept. Of course, for x intercept, of course, you need to find the factors. First, to look for common factor, you group the terms or use the factor theorem. Turning points, you find the derivative. Then you let the derivative to be 0. Of course, boys and girls, thereafter you solve for x. Once you have the x value, you just take the x value, then substitute them where? In the original to get the y coordinate of the turning points. Thereafter, now you can now be able to draw what? To draw a smooth curve. The term stating the nature of the turning points, of course, it will depend on the value of a. Of course, the lowest value of x, if a is positive, will be the maximum, and the highest one will be the minimum. And also, when a is less than 0, the lowest x value will be the minimum, will give us the minimum turning points, and the highest one will give us the maximum turning points. And the last one that we have looked at is to how to find the point of inflection. Of course, we said we need the second derivative, and we must let it to be 0, solve for x right now. That's what you must do, and these are another options that you can do. Remember, the question can say to you, determine the x coordinate or determine the coordinate of the point of inflection. Boys and girls, try to go through this one again. Of course, I believe that you're going to have just a 10 minutes break. Now, immediately after this one now, we'll be now looking at the equations of the cubic function.